Hello, I am Colby Lopez, a student and student government senator/treasurer at WVU Tech, and politician from Southern West Virginia. This will be a video in which I discuss current events in state politics. It's well known that the West Virginia legislature has an awful relationship with state teachers, school staff, and the public education system as a whole. This is known due to attempts to either backhand the teachers themselves or their students due to the interests of the rich or dark money interests, leading to the statewide teacher strikes here in West Virginia, which led to various teacher strikes elsewhere. The state government has a responsibility to offer students here in the state quality, free public education, in my opinion. However, they are proposing various policies which will lead to further underfunding of our state's public education system. Public education should be made competitive with and comparable to private schooling options, in my opinion. And the state government should be in charge of doing that. The proposals that are aimed at draining resources from the public education system here in West Virginia. One of them passed the House of Delegates and is being called the Hope Scholarship, would end up transferring $100 million out of the public education system into the private and homeschooling systems. While I believe that homeschooling and private/charter schooling is a choice for the parents of a student, if that parent can afford to do so and has the time to do so, and that those students should have the same opportunities in life as all others, I do not believe that the public should pay for private educational companies' bottom lines when private schools can charge tuition. And I do not believe that we should provide public education funding to homeschoolers due to the fact that it is a choice to not attend a public school instead, as public schools are likely to provide a better outcome with most of the teachers being professionally trained or in the least knowledgeable in the area that they specifically teach. Parents or other family members who are commonly tasked with being the teacher in a homeschooling setting are simply not as often going to be qualified enough to properly teach their child. Though, as I said, the opportunity should certainly be there, and it is a choice of the parents. However, public funding should not go to a private or home school until, in my opinion, 110% of the funds that public schools need is properly awarded. So until public schools are at 110% the funds that they need, not a dime should go to private, charter, or home schools. Speaking of charter schools, the other proposal, which passed the West Virginia Senate, would allow more charter schools and would create a authorizing body above the authority of the State Board of Education, as the Board of Education is not really willing to create charter schools, as charter schools are private schools in all but name and receiving of public funding. And as such, just like private schools, charter schools would sacrifice the children's well-being and education for profits and money and influence and power. And so charter schools, which was one of the main reasons for one of the West Virginia statewide teacher strikes, are now going to be more possible to be created if this is indeed signed into law. And there will also be the possibility of even more. It is calculated that this will be an additional $100 million from the public education budget put into a charter school budget, which technically, which legally speaking, charter schools are public schools. However, in reality, as I said, they are private schools which simply receive public funds. With these two bills together, the West Virginia State Legislature is proposing a total removal of $200 million from the state education budget. A budget that is already underfunded, as evidenced by the fact that teachers are underpaid, in addition to the fact that the majority of our schools do not receive up-to-date technology or are unable to purchase newer editions of textbooks. I remember in high school there were tobacco spit-filled textbooks. There were textbooks held together by duct tape. There were textbooks with no cover. And simply put, the school had no money to replace any of these damaged books, as well as many times teachers choosing not to teach out of the textbook due to the fact that they were so outdated. Of course, making it more difficult for the teachers to teach, as they would have to go off of a curriculum with an out-of-date textbook that could not help them teach. Various teachers throughout the state are unable to provide the quality education that they need to, and as such we are experiencing a teacher shortage, which many blame solely on the low teacher salaries, but in reality also due to the lack of resources in the public education system. We must fully fund our public schools, not strip $200 million away from our public schools. Public schools are what educate the majority of our students, and there would be no need for private or charter schools, and would be little to no need for homeschooling if our public schools were properly funded and of an appropriate quality. And the only way to do that, to reach that proper quality, is not removing funds, but rather funding public education to 110% of its needs. Anyways, since I have been rambling a little bit in this, but I just wanted to make sure to provide my opinion on this. But since I've been rambling, this is the end of the video. Please like this video, share it with family and friends, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, making sure to hit the bell icon. Please also check out my social media, Instagram at Lopez for Change, Twitter at Lopez for Change, Snapchat at Lopez for Oakhill WV, and Facebook, Colby.Lopez.12, apologies, which all should be linked in the description. Please stay safe and de-stress. I am Colby Lopez, and I approve this message.